What's up guys, Sekapoko here, bringing you another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. For this we'll be going over my Legend Concepts video part 2. And if you guys missed part 1, go ahead and check it in the card description above. It's going to be right up there. Gives you over a kind of an overview of what I'm going to be doing in these concept videos and help you out at understanding what my thought process is and the builds on here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. The next character we're going over is going to be version 1 Fujitora 6+, and this one was actually a little tough. I'm on the fence still on how I want to do this character, but for the captain ability, I'm going to change the captain ability from boosting an attack by 3 times up to a 3.25 with a matching orb, and then if they have a non-matching orb, it's going to be a 1.75 boost instead of a 1.5 times boost. And one of the reasons I wanted to keep it that way, because the thing with making these 6+, I want to keep the core or the center of these characters the same. I want to keep this character kind of like a meat shield. I want to make it so that he does provide something to his team. So that was one of the interesting things with him, was I was trying to figure out how to do that with him, but it's kind of weird. And the next thing I'm going to go for is going to be his special ability. For the special ability, I did something a little different. And what I'm going to do is that if the enemy with the highest HP is above 51% HP, cut the HP of each enemy by 20%. And then at the end of the turn, cut the HP of each enemy by 20% for 3 turns. If the enemy is below 51% HP, lock the chain multiplier at 2.75 and boost the attack of driven characters by 2 times. And I thought this was an interesting change to put in, because it's really hard to get below 50% HP, and then bringing that with a Fujitora team as well is also kind of weird. But the thing with this character is I kept his HP pool pretty high, and I made it so it's possible to get below 50% HP or 50% HP. And one of the ways to do that, of course, is using an HP cutter or multiple HP cutters. And one of the characters that just got introduced was Charlotte Amand, and I really like that unit. However, it is much of a slower character, and I figured Fujitora is also kind of that slower group, so why not put them together and make them kind of interesting together. So that was one of the changes I thought would be really interesting, is having HP thresholded boss, kind of similar to Neptune, but giving a similar motif on how I would do it, but giving a much larger boost. And I thought that would be an interesting change to this unit, because he's kind of a hard unit to use now, but making it so that he would be a way different unit would be really fun. And I hope that would be a welcome change to his 6+. Now on this one, I kind of went back and I was like, well, people are gonna need some clarifications here to understand exactly what I mean on this particular character. And to clarify, this is gonna be a very similar special ability to Rare Recruit Neptune, where Rare Recruit Neptune does an HP cut above 50% and does does 200,000 damage below 50%, whereas the Fujitora will do a similar thing here as well. The end of turn HP cut is going to apply regardless of whether the enemy has a thresholded HP or not. So if you're above 50% HP or below 50% HP on the enemy, it's going to apply that 20% HP cut. So I just wanted to add that in just so you guys knew exactly what I meant here. And the overall thought is you want to keep Fujitora tanky, you want to keep him similar to how he is now, but you don't want him to power creep what's already existing. You want to keep him usable, just in a different way. The next unit we're going to go over is going to be 6+ Cavendish. And the thing about 6+ Cavendish is he's really good as a captain, but I didn't want to overpower his ability as a sub, and I still, to this moment, do not know how I'm going to not overpower his ability as a sub. But as a sub, he's extremely powerful still, but he's way, way stronger as a captain. Now, his 6+ captain ability is going to boost the attack of strength, dex, and quick characters by 2.75, and so from 2.5 he goes up a little bit just to meet the current meta, but boosts his own attack by 4.25. After hitting 4 perfects, boost the chain multiplier by 1x. So it'll go, if you're like perfect, where you're at like 2.2 times, it'll go from 1.9 to 3.2x. That's basically how it'll go. And the final hit will be 3.5x. That's how it would go. So a chain boosting mechanic would be much better served on a Cavendish team versus a chain locking effect. That's the idea, by the way. And this would stack with chain boost, by the way, because it is part of the captain ability. His special ability is going to remove all positive buffs on his own team and then boost his own attack by 2.25 times for 2 turns and amplify his own orb effect by 2.25. Now that's an increase from 1.5 times to 2.25 times on himself. Now the original boost on himself was way too weak in my opinion, and it just didn't provide enough damage, and I think this would provide enough damage for using him as a sub in order to actually want to use this unit. And then for 2 turns, lock his own orb and change his own orb into Rainbow. And I thought that would be an interesting change because I don't want to have mechanics that shuffle out his own orb. That's one of his biggest weaknesses, and that's super fucking annoying. But I want to make him strong enough to actually be usable in content. And this is the change that I think that would, both of these changes I think would make him perfect for using him in new content. But it wouldn't make him so strong that he would be like the biggest unit to bring on every single team, but he would be a very, very strong unit to be boosting himself. And that's kind of the thing that you get with using Cavendish and Hakuba. So I'm hoping that this change will actually make it so that he is a really usable unit and a very fun unit to have in future content. The next character we're going to be going over is going to be Strength Akainu. So Strength Akainu is already very strong. As a unit, he's extremely strong as far as damage goes. His big weakness is he can't really get Strength Orbs too often. And what I'm going to do for his Captain ability is I'm going to keep it the same, except it's going to increase the chance that it is going to get Strength Orbs. It's going to be less than the original 6-star Shanks, closer to what Judge is right now. I think if you compare Judge and Akainu, I think Akainu gets Strength Orbs a lot less than Judge, but I'm going to boost it to right around where Judge is. And that should be a good enough change as far as Captain ability goes in getting Strength Orbs. And I don't know if Akainu is more than Judge. If it's kind of more than Judge, then I'll just leave it the same. But I don't have a ton of experience using Akainu. His special ability was really good as is, and I wanted to change it in a way that made it better, but in a way that it would fit his total motif. And what it's going to do is deals 125 times attack and type-less damage to all enemies, and then boosts attack of all characters 50 cost by 1.75 for 2 turns. So that part remains the same. The change is if you have 6 characters in your crew at 50 cost or higher, change all orbs into strength, lock all orbs for 1 turn, and make strength orbs beneficial for 2 turns. This is kind of a similar thing that you would do with like Treasure Mode Ace, except that this is for 2 turns. And I wanted to make this character a little better than Treasure Mode Ace in a way that didn't make him too OP, but did make him interesting. And as far as his Captain ability goes, I was thinking about increasing the HP pool of the character, but then I was like, no, because V2 Akainu doesn't do that. It doesn't really fall into any other Akainu's way of doing things, and I really didn't want to have him the same as every other character in the game. Now, he's already very similar to Judge as is, but Judge has a higher HP pool as well as damage reduction, and that has other drawbacks along with it. So I wanted to keep Akainu relatively the same. Just the next unit we're going over is going to be Blackbeard 6+, and Blackbeard 6+ is already really fucking strong. So I really didn't want to make him too much stronger. I'm going to keep the Captain ability basically the same. It's going to be 2.75 times attack and then 1.5 times HP. What I'm also going to do is attacks will ignore defense barriers and buffs as well as defense. So it's going to make it so Blackbeard will go through defense, like increased defense, armor, all that stuff. So it makes it so that one of the biggest weaknesses Blackbeard had was if an enemy had armor or any kind of defense, and you had to bring a defense reducer, and that was really annoying to fit in your team. So just made it part of the captain. And I think they wanted to keep that as an intended weakness, but to be honest, I want to make that into the captain. Too bad. Now for the special ability, what I did was a little different. He's going to cut the HP of each enemy by 30%, and if Blackbeard is a captain, this ability is going to ignore damage negating abilities and barriers. If Blackbeard is a sailor, remove 2 turns of barriers, remove 5 turns of increased defense, % damage reduction, and damage cap. And one of the biggest reasons I decided to make this captain ability and special ability what they are is because Blackbeard is not really super useful as a sub. You really just use him as a 30% HP cutter, and I wanted to actually have him have some kind of use as a sub, and this seemed like the best way to do it. To have a 30% HP cut as well as removing having some kind of utility sounded like a pretty fun way to do it. And the fact that his captain ability goes to the defense makes it so that one's not super OP, not too un-OP, all that stuff. So there's a lot of things you can do with Blackbeard, and I thought this might be a nice change. So let's go over Shirahoshi, and for Shirahoshi, I did something a little bit different. So take this one with a grain of salt. I just thought this one would be funny. This is not really supposed to happen. If this ever did happen, that would be fucking hilarious, but I don't expect this to ever happen. I just thought it would be fun to add in. So the original captain ability is going to be boost the attack of all characters by 2.25. We're going to boost that to 2.5 times, and then boost her own attack by 1.125. And recover 5 times character's recovery at the end of each turn. If you don't attack with her, she would originally reduce damage by 10%, and we're boosting that to 15%. The next thing I'm adding, just for fun, if affected by anti-healing, boost the attack of all characters by 3.25 and own attack to 3.75. And the reason I did that is because it's stupid and I thought it was fun. Her special ability is going to be stage 1 is going to change adjacent orbs into a block including rainbow and recover 9 times character's recovery in HP, just like it was before. And stage 2 is also going to be kind of fun, where we're going to have change all orbs including block orbs into rainbow orbs and recover 100 times character's recovery in HP. If a character is if characters are affected by anti-healing, lock all orbs for 1 turn and deal 150 times in character's recovery in typeless damage to all enemies. If you want to know how much damage that is, around 100,000 or so, just a little bit over. And I thought that was a really funny thing to do with her special ability, just to make her really interesting with anti-healing. And the reason that I wanted to do it is because there's nothing in the game with anti-healing yet, and I thought that would be fun. And like, you get rid of anti-healing in your limit break and stuff, so this is obviously hard to achieve. So I don't think this is gonna happen unless you get like a 99 turn anti-heal, and that does happen sometimes. So you really won't have this really won't happen too often. But I did boost her captain ability, so she does your whole team does a little bit more damage. You take a little bit less damage, so that part is nice. And then the other part is just for fun, just in case this ever does happen and she gets completely screwed over. You have the 1 turn to make yourself shine and try to kill the boss. But I don't think that's going to be coming in the clutch too often. And if it does, it's funny. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this episode of 6+ Legend Concepts. My name's Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, if you guys want to see next 6+s and you want to know what I think about the next ones, go ahead and put it in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys want to see for the next video. Let me know what you guys liked about this video, didn't like about this video, and of course, what comments you have on the 6+s we have today. Obviously, none of these guys are going to be implemented into the game. I don't think none of these will even come close to what is going to happen, but these are just a fun way of putting concepts into the game for things we really want to see in the game and be really fun to play with. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.